Well, hi, everybody. Good morning. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties here getting my presentation up and running, but hopefully we get this fixed. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our class today using InfoSparks and FastStats to become the market expert. I am your host, Anthony. I work here at Orange County Realtors, been here now for almost 20 years, started off in the MLS department, so I know guaranteed I'll speak to everybody attending today regarding rules, regulations, violations, all that fun stuff. What I'm also involved with is our outreach program. Our outreach program typically is designed to give you training on all your tools and products. I and my co-host Leo are trainers, and basically we train anywhere from MLS, how to run searches, add and modify listings, create CMAs, all that fun stuff, to zip forms training. Both Leo and I are zip forms certified trainers. We show you how to access your CAR free member benefit, to put together your transactions electronically, how to digitally sign them. And of course, we go over all the advanced tools that zip forms has to offer. And of course, I and Leo love training on technology. We love showing agents how they can utilize our technology tools and things like that to better your real estate selves. Okay. My goal is to help you go paper less in your business. Now, usually what I mean by this is that maybe not get rid of paper fully, but maybe get rid of enough of it to make your real estate lives a lot easier. Okay. So what is InfoSparks and FastStats? You probably are asking yourself. Well, really quickly, InfoSparks and FastStats is your free OC Realtors and CRMLS member benefit, and it provides MLS statistical data that you can use to show the market realities. Okay. Now, what's really cool about this is that InfoSparks and FastStats data is 100% MLS data only. There's no other outside resource. There's no other outside influence in this data. This is what's actually happening within the MLS system. Now, I know we all have asked ourselves, well, or even heard, well, geez, we're in a recession, we're in this, we're in that, we're in the other thing, what's going on? And yet, we've got to be able to help funnel all this information to be able to be organized about it. Okay. Now, I know you guys are real estate professionals, but using this data is going to be really super important, especially in today's age, to help educate your clients. Okay. Now, real quickly, why do we do this? Well, how accurate are those public websites? I know, do we have anybody here with clients today that might have seen what their home values worth or estimated value is worth on some of these third-party websites? And you can just do a quick show of hands. By the way, we are recording today's session, so everybody attending today will get a copy of today's class. So please feel free to ask a question. Awesome, Ingrid. You do have a couple of clients that seem to listen or go to those public websites and say, geez, they're telling me my home's worth $1.8 million, right? But this is where we got to actually go over this. This is what we actually know about these estimates. Now, this is taken from one of those major websites. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to leave this because I want to actually show you the updated numbers. The last time I updated this was probably around March of this year. But just to point out real interestingly, here for active listing accuracy, meaning that their estimated value or what a property should be listed at, to be within 5% of its estimated list price, they're about 83% accurate, meaning that about 16 to 17% of the time they're off. To be within 10% of a list price, they can be 96% accurate. Okay. And to be within 20% of an estimated list price, they're almost 100% accurate. Now, this was back in March. Now, if we think about this, to be within 20% of a home's value, and we have to take into account plus or minus numbers, right? 20% positive, 20% negative, that's a 40% gap. So say, as an example, this website said your home is estimated to be $1 million plus or minus 20%. Well, that's a $400,000 gap in its value. Okay. A $400,000 gap. Now, I don't know about you all, but would you all want to play with a $400,000 value of your largest ever owned asset? Probably not. Now, just real quickly, just to show you some of these updated numbers today. Oops, we have here a quick question. Do you compare the same time period? Well, this is what they are basically saying is their estimated values right now. Okay. It's hard for me to tell what time period the others are looking at. I don't understand what you mean by that, Sadaka. Do you mean the time period of this is when they last updated their information, and that this is what, the funny part is most people do not even go above and beyond to even research how inaccurate their information is, right? But if we went to that website real quickly to look at their accurate of information, which by the way, anybody can look this up, right? It's just that unfortunately, most consumers today do not look at the research. Oh, Sadaka, InfoSparks is 1 month prior. I know that. Yes. So Sadaka, InfoSparks updates its data on a monthly basis. Okay. So every month it's updated. Okay. But the information you're seeing is for the prior month. Okay. And that's because things are happening during this month. So when we're looking at the numbers today, we're looking at July's numbers. Okay. Which is still pretty darn good. Okay. All right. Real quickly here on that estimate, if we look at Los Angeles, Long Beach, Anaheim, basically LA and Orange County. Okay. But the others don't say that. You're right. They don't. So you don't know when they updated their data. I can tell you that unless you're actually researching this, I will tell you back in March, if we look at these numbers are now severely off, right? Since March of this year, to be within 5% of the price, you're talking about being only 61% accurate. Okay. To be within 5%. So now we're talking about almost a 39% chance that they're not accurate at all about its estimation. Here to be within 10%, it's 88%. To be within 20%, they're 98% accurate. Okay. Way different than the 99 and let's expand this out. 96 and 83. So those numbers have severely dropped by almost, in some cases, that 5%, 20% of its value. Okay. So, this is what we have to look at, right? This is why consumers really need to listen to you, the professional. You have access to the most accurate information at all times. Okay. You all have access to this information, right? You have access to what people are actually listing their homes for in the MLS. You have access to what people are getting into escrow for, at what list price and what time frame, and of course, what people are actually willing to pay for a property at time of closing. Okay. This is why consumers need to listen to you, the professional, because you are boots on the ground. Now, by the way, Sadaka, to answer your question, you want updated information. This is where a CMA comes in, because you want to compare like to like. But what we can also do is use statistical data to help market ourselves. Okay. Now, using statistical data will help elevate your online presence as an agent. Okay. You got to have information. Excuse me. Got to close my window here. Got to have information to be able to market online, right? As you talk about statistical data and show information, this is going to increase your credibility as a real estate professional. Ultimately, you're going to have better client interactions with your current clients and any future clients that you have in the future. And of course, in having these better interactions, you're going to be able to manage these expectations that people have to something that's a little bit more reasonable. Now, real quickly, how do we elevate your online presence? Distribute the information. Don't be afraid to talk about it. I can't tell you how many agents don't talk about the market. I've been in this business for 20 years. And I can tell you that less than 10% of you actually do any sort of video, social media, or online marketing. Less than 10%, which is kind of amazing, especially in today's technical age. Even handing out information door to door at open houses, things like that, you don't talk about what's going on in the market. Excuse me, my wife's who's a real estate agent. I've gone through many an open house with her just to observe. And I can't tell you how many clients, when they come through an open house, ask about what's happening in the market. So transparency is availability, right? You got to distribute information. People are so concerned about the information nowadays and transparency. Why not do that? They feel that you as a real estate professional don't like to talk about the business because their first instinct is you don't know what the business is all about. You don't know what's happening in your market areas. You don't know. Is that true? Does anybody here not know what's happening in the areas that you're marketing in? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but is it true? Do you just kind of wing it? Good. I don't see any hands raised. That's a good sign. All right, real quickly. By doing this, you're going to want to apply your personal branding and your logos to these reports. Okay. Edit those PDF documents. Now, what's nice is with InfoSparks, it's going to be pre-branded with your information pulled from your roster data. But some of the other reports that are PDF, maybe you use a PDF editor of some sort to brand your information to be able to hand it out. Promote property stats of the area. Now, with FastStats, you've got two types of reports. One called the local market update report, which has a list of all the stats on one page, or the monthly indicator report, which is a 15-page deep dive into all the individual stats. Now, by the way, you can use this information either digitally or in print versions. So put these reports on your website, put them on your social media platforms, do a video, or even better yet, hand it out at an open house or door knock. Anybody here door knocking right now? Or anybody doing mailers right now? One person, Ingrid. Awesome, Ingrid. I'm so glad that you're doing marketing. All right. Now, by the way, you can increase your credibility, right? How? You're going to position yourself as the market expert by including stats in all of your marketing materials, whether it's online or print versions. By using empirical data, you're going to complement your experience. I don't care if you've only been in the business a month or up to 28 years. Okay. Knowing the information and handing out information, this is going to complement your experience with your clients or even potential clients. Now, by the way, we give you the information. You're going to interpret it however you need to see fit. Ingrid asks, door knock all the time now, meeting all the people. That's awesome, Ingrid. Right? I will tell you, even door knocking, you're talking about a 6 to 7 month or 6 to 9 month return on investment. That means that you got to door knock almost every day, or yes. What did I hear that stat? You almost have to door knock every day for a period of 6 months straight before you see one return on your investment. Don't get discouraged about it, but hey, it's content to be able to talk about. And by the way, again, we give you the information. You can interpret it however you see fit. And that's one of the beautiful things about marketing today. Okay. Each and every one of you are going to look at these stats and you're going to see something different. Some of you will see positive in your market. Some of you will see negative. Depending on how you look at these numbers, that's the kind of clientele that you are going to attract. That's your niche market. Now, by the way, becoming the market expert does not mean that you have to memorize or know every stat. As a matter of fact, if you just know one stat alone, you can make yourself very easily the market expert. Own it. Real quickly, Ingrid goes, can't mail or use someone else to drop for you. Did that before and they knew him and not me. Nor helpers unless I mail once in a while. The people knew to see you. Yes, people love to see you. People need to get to know you. And if you're marketing in a neighborhood, it's a great way to introduce yourself. Of course, Ingrid. All right. Now, how do you make yourself the expert? You're going to be able to answer all the popular questions. Is it a buyer or seller's market? Well, what stat would you normally look at? Month supply of inventory. How do property types compare? Compare attached versus detached, especially if you're marketing here in Orange County, because usually a single family detached property is about the same price point as a condo detached property. Just like a condo attached home is usually around the same price point as a single family attached home. Okay. Are prices going up and down? You're looking at the median sales price. How much or how long will it take to sell my house? Well, that's your days on market, right? And of course, how much of your asking price will you get, when you list a home? Well, that's the percentage of either list price or original list price being received. And of course, when do I have the most options as a buyer? That's going to be your inventory or the active inventory. I know everybody here has at least been asked one of these, if not a combination of these, in the past, 2 years? If not all the time. Now, managing expectations, right? You got to manage those client interactions, right? Manage our expectations using these various metrics like days on market, median sales price, percentage of original list price being received, and of course, inventory. You can want to impress people at listing appointments, and fairly soon, and because of the lovely lawsuits that are out there, buying appointments, right? Pretty soon, these laws are going to change whereby you, if you're representing a buyer, now have to negotiate your commission. You now have to create and have a buying agent or a buyer's presentation ready to go. Well, impress them with the market statistics, right? With these market realities of what's happening. And of course, in doing so, you're going to be able to provide the necessary education to empower that client to make a well data-driven decision and not a fully emotional decision. Even though real estate is still an emotional business, it is our job to make sure that we calm down the emotions just a bit and look at the hard fact numbers. Now, how does this benefit you and your clients? Well, number one, it's going to benefit you by enhancing your negotiating power. How many of you recently have written up an offer and you felt that, geez, the listing agent knows the market better than me, and they seem that in our negotiations just rake me over the coals? I really wish I'd been able to know the market better to be able to write up a better offer or a more competitive offer. Anybody ever feel like that? Well, I see Ingrid raise her hand, right? Well, guess what? If you know your stats and you know what's going on, not only can you help not only negotiate a better deal with the other agent for your client, but he maybe even have better negotiating skills to be able to sit down with potential sellers or buyers to negotiate better commissions. Now, what I also love about statistics is that you're going to be able to connect with those analytical personalities. I know everybody here has at least one client that just loves looking at hard numbers. Okay. So here are the numbers. Give them over the information. Let them look at it. Talk to them about it. Now, by the way, numbers are great to help the emotional decision makers. Because again, hey, the numbers aren't lying. Just because you want an offer in 6 days when the average is 12, then We just got to wait a little longer. It's okay. Now, connecting with these personality types, we're going to be able to help not only reduce a client's anxiety and their emotions, but we're going to also reduce ours. I know everybody here takes on their client's emotions, right? Ed, Emily, have you all ever woken yourselves up in the middle of the night wondering why that offer wasn't accepted or why you haven't gotten that many offers for your listings? Nowadays, if you're looking at the numbers, you can not only help your clients be calm and cool, but this is going to help you reduce your stress levels as well. Now, real quickly, anybody know the difference between a seller's market, buyer's market, and a balanced market? If you do, type it in the chat. What do you think it is? The market right now is a slight seller's market. Well, that's great, Ingrid. How do you know? What makes it a seller's market? And are you sure it's a seller's market right now? The days on market? Maybe. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that, honestly. But at least you're trying. So what makes something a seller's market or a buyer's market or a balanced market is very simple. Economics 101, supply and demand. So what makes a seller's market? Seller's market is when you have very little supply that meets the demand, whereby when you're putting something on the market, it goes off very quickly and fast. So you're not able to keep up with that demand, which ultimately makes several things happen. Makes properties on the market very short time on market, but it also makes home prices, in this case, go up very sharply, very quickly. Now, in the nation, a seller's market is when you have less than 5 months worth of inventory on the MLS. Now, funny enough, here in Orange County, we are a microclimate of the real estate world. As a matter of fact, usually things happen here in Orange County first, and then it filters out to everybody else outside of Orange County, outside of California, outside of the United States. Not that we have to worry about that just yet. So here in Orange County, what makes our seller's market is when we have less than 3 months worth of inventory on the MLS. Now, what makes a buyer's market? A buyer's market is when you have more inventory than meets the demand, okay? Meaning that there aren't as many buyers taking inventory off quickly at all or at a steady pace. Usually what happens is, yes, properties stay on the market a little bit longer, but home prices all of a sudden, instead of going up, will start to go down very quickly. Now, in the United States, a seller's market, or I'm sorry, a buyer's market is when you have more than 6 months worth of inventory on an MLS system. Here in Orange County, however, is more than 4 months. Now, a balanced market is when you have enough supply that meets enough demand, whereby inventory is coming on and off at a steady pace, whereby you're not getting a sharp peak or a deep drop. You're actually getting a steady incline of appreciation value. A balanced market in the United States for real estate is between 5 and 6 months worth of inventory. In Orange County is between 3 and 4 months of inventory. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to look at supply to see if we are in a seller's market, buyer's market, or a balanced market. And funny enough, even when we're talking about Orange County, we've got what? Multiple cities, multiple areas. So even it may be, we could look at county stats and see, geez, it might be a seller's market for the county, but maybe the city you're marketing in might actually be a buyer's market or a balanced market or a slight seller's market, depending on where you're marketing. Because again, things affect other things. Just because it happens for the county doesn't mean it affects the city the same way, or vice versa. Now, you're going to support your recommendations. You're going to compare local to regional numbers. So basically things like your CMA, where you're comparing this house to other homes like it in the neighborhood, but you can now compare it to maybe this home to the other homes in the MLS area versus the city versus the county. So you can now give a grander number of what's happening and how being in this neighborhood might be more desirable than, say, everybody else outside of that neighborhood or in that city or in that county. You're going to be able to utilize statistics to dive deeper and dig deeper into your niche markets. Because when you display and emphasize the stats that your target market needs to hear, because you want to target that particular market, they're going to now be attracted to that. Now, answering the emotional points of price forecasting, right? Because the trend is going to be your friend. Because you're going to be able to look at anywhere from 5 to 20 years worth of data. You can show the ups and downs of the market. You can show that things may be regular to go through, to be able to when to list, when to buy, things like that. Now, for your personal marketing, you want to support your business and yourself. So compare you to the rest of the market averages. So maybe Emily, being a listing agent, she might be averaging 6 days on market for the particular city that she's working in, but maybe that city has an average days on market of 12. So now she's going to put marketing materials of, hey, I sell homes very quickly compared to the rest of the area. I can sell your home, if priced right, within 6 days, versus if you go with another agent in this same city, it's going to take you anywhere from 12 to 15 days to get into escrow. Now, you got to be innovative with your stats. Okay. Regardless of popular demand, you do not need to be, talk about stats in a boring way. Be innovative with it. People want to be excited. You can be excited. Let's see here. Ning Yan Fang asks, can you enable the chat for me? Just click on where it says chat and you can write your chat questions or write them here in the Q&A. Ning Yang. Yes, you will get a copy, or yes, you can get a copy of the presentation as well. Just send me a quick email and I'll be more than happy to email you a copy of this presentation for you so that you can review it. But you'll also get a copy of the recording too. Let's see here. If you're doing social media marketing, things like that, having statistics will help you produce your own content. It'll give you something to talk about. Okay. By the way, if you do hand out this information or you do post this information, know your stuff because it's going to show. Right? Nothing shoots your credibility in the foot more than when you hand out statistics, and the moment somebody asks you a question about that statistic, if you don't answer it or you can't answer it, that shoots your credibility in the foot right away. So don't just blindly hand things out without knowing what it is that you're handing out. Now, as you begin to know your information, right, you're going to be able to create an influential reputation for somebody who knows answers, who can answer questions. And of course, you know what's happening in your market. You're going to strengthen your negotiating power again with clients, other agents, and potential clients. And now this will help you own your market segments and in your local areas. So this is super huge for everybody. All right. Are there any questions so far? It says chat is disabled. It shouldn't be disabled, Gita. But I will participate. Let's see, but I will participate, post comments here. That's fine. Please do so. Are there any questions so far? Can we turn on the speaker? Let's see here, Ingrid. Let me see if I can allow people to talk. I usually don't, but I'll turn that on for people if they wish. So you can answer, ask a question. There you go. All you got to do is hit the microphone icon. And you should be able to unmute yourself. Yes, Janice. I'm going to show you that right now. I'm just unmuting everybody or giving them the ability to unmute themselves. So give me a second here as I do that. There you go. I think I've got pretty much everybody. Okay, so you can ask your question, Geeta.
Okay, some of the screens are too small. Can you make it bigger?
Right
Maybe-
now, are you seeing a big version on my screen or a small version of my screen?
Yes, because maybe I'm using iPad and my chat still is unable. Even the questions, I couldn't write the question, but
Being on an iPad is a little bit more challenging. Yes, the screen is a little bit smaller, but you can unmute yourself and ask your questions.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Ingrid, you had a question, or Janice?
All good, thanks. No, but I always want to see how to use the InfoSparks better, because when I'm using it, it's just too overwhelming. So many data, but I don't know how to compose a better graphic or to understand it better.
Okay, well, that's what we're here to do. We're going to try that for you. Real quickly, Rick asks, are we making the assumption that MLS data is 100% representative of all market data? If not 100% of the pie, what percentage does it account for roughly? So Rick, yes, we're talking about 200,000 listings in our MLS database that agents are supposed to be putting data into MLS, which is why you have those rules nowadays that came out 2 years ago called clear cooperation, whereby agents who take a listing agreement now must input their listings into the MLS. So every listing agent or every agent part of the MLS must be putting their listings in. Now, there are listings that are registered that aren't marketed, but that's going to be a small percentage comparatively. But it won't take into account FSBOs or anything like that. But information in the MLS, CRMLS has very strict rules about making sure that any and all data in the MLS must be deemed accurate and reliable, which is why we have very strict rules about making sure that agents, when they're inputting the listings, are putting correct photos, list price, square footage, everything about the property. That's why like auto solds are fines, because, hey, you should be changing your listing to close when it's supposed to close, things like that. Hey, we don't encourage you to keep your listing out of the MLS because people need it not only for CMAs, but for statistical tools just like this. So I wouldn't say, it's the data that's being pulled out of this MLS is not every MLS, but you're also not going to look at every area within the state of California. Does that make sense, Rick? Hopefully. Okay, so how do we access InfoSparks and FastStats? Very easily, we're going to be logged into the MLS system. Now, when we're logged into the MLS system, we can access InfoSparks in two ways. Number one, here under the home screen, we have a widget called external links. Here, the external links widget gives us access to some of our third-party member benefits, one of which says InfoSparks Market Statistics. The second way to access InfoSparks is through the Links tab here at the very top of the screen. So if you click on the Links tab at the very top of the screen here, we now have access to all of our third-party member benefits offered to us by CRMLS. If we scroll down on this list, we're now going to choose the choice InfoSparks. Now, when we select InfoSparks, a new window is going to open up for us just like so. And we immediately see some information here right away. First thing that we're going to see here, top right or top left corner, is that we're looking at the entire MLS database. Under the entire MLS database, under all property types, attached and detached, all types of bedrooms, bathrooms, price ranges, things like this, we're looking at a stat down below here called the median sales price. And we see here that the median sales price in the entire MLS is $777,000, which is up 5% as of the month of July, compared to July of 2021. Now, I know everybody here immediately goes, well, geez, Tony, that sounds really super low for CRMLS. Well, remember, we're not looking at just Orange County data. We're looking at Orange County, Riverside, LA County, San Diego County, San Bernardino County, Fresno, Sacramento, East Bay, all these data shares that CRMLS has partnerships with and share MLS data with. Again, more than 200,000 listings. Now, we need to narrow this down. How can we narrow this down? Back over here to the top right, where it says entire MLS, click on the little down arrow here, and now we can choose to look at city information, county information, zip code data, MLS area, school district data, or my areas. Now, my areas are mapped out areas that you map out for your various different places. Ning Yan, you have a question?
Yes, hi. Is this the place if we chose a county for Orange County, then we got the OC Fast Facts? OC Fast Facts, just the subset of this InfoSparks?
Yes. So
Oh.
OC FastStats and InfoSparks pull from the same data source, which is 10K. 10K is the company that designed InfoSparks. Now, OC FastStats is the PDF file, okay, to look at all of our statistics. But yes, we can, here in InfoSparks, select a county like Orange County. Here I can type in Orange County, and now I can select the county of Orange. And we now see here our numbers change a little bit, that the median sales price in all of Orange County is 970,000. Okay, up 7.2%, which that still sounds kind of low. Why? Well, remember, we're comparing all property types together. So what happens if maybe the neighborhood you're marketing is a detached neighborhood or an attached neighborhood? Well, we want to compare like to like, right? So here in Orange County for the detached market, if I select detached filter, we see here that as of July, the median sales price in all of Orange County for detached properties was 1.255 million, up 14% from a year ago. Now, what's neat about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that if we come over to this line graph here that we see on the screen, number one, we see that if I move my mouse over top of it, we see that July of 2022 at 1.25. But if we move our mouse along this line, we get to actually see what the previous month was. So we see between June and July that the price actually dropped $20,000 from 1.275. If we go further on the line, we see that back in April, Orange County's detached market actually hit an all-time high of 1.35 million. So if I was a homeowner that bought just in April, I've actually lost almost $100,000 in my home value in just a couple of months. But if I scroll all the way back on this line to July of 2021, The median sales price in Orange County for the detached market was $1,098,000. So between July of last year to July of this year, someone who had bought a home last year in Orange County has probably almost close to 200 or a little over $200,000 in equity. If we go back 5 years
Watch.
to July of 2017, so maybe some of you had a buyer that bought back in 2017, they probably paid a little over $780,000. So in just a mere 5 years overall, they have still gained an equity of over $500,000, which is pretty amazing. Anybody like that? Anybody impressed with that? Couple of you, excellent. Now we can narrow this down also, or do a little also comparisons. Some of you actually market to certain areas, and maybe you want to do a side-by-side comparison. You can do that. Back here near the top left, next to where I have Orange County, there's a choice here that says add an area. So what I can now do is choose a different area. So maybe if I want to compare county to county, here I could type in Riverside County, select it, and now for the detached market of Riverside compared to Orange County, even though Riverside is up 7.3%, their median sales price for the detached market is still only $590 versus Orange County at 1.2. So maybe you want to sell your home in Orange County and move out to Riverside and now maybe buy 1 or 2 properties with the amount of money that you sold here.
Tony, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I know the statistics are based on the prior month, but are they only looking at the closed sales of the prior month, or
That's what the
are
median
they?
sales price would be, yes. But if you look down below, we can look at other stats like active inventory, closed sales,
Okay.
pending sales, month supply, days on market, which we can look at here in just a second. But real quickly, I don't have to compare county to versus county. I could actually even compare a county versus, say, a city. So anybody here marketing a particular city?
Irvine.
Irvine, excellent. So how does the city of Irvine compare to all of Orange County? Or maybe a particular area of Irvine, like Turtle Rock. Maybe I spelled Turtle Rock wrong. There we go. So what I can now do is compare either county versus city versus MLS area. So here we see Turtle Rock at 1.8 up 7.1% to Irvine's 1.7 up 28% versus Orange County at 1.2. So if someone has a home that is in the Turtle Rock MLS area of Irvine, they live in a super expensive area compared to their city, compared to the rest of the county.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Why it plus 14.3%? That's based on what?
To a year ago.
2 years ago,
July of 2021.
2021, or just 1 year ago? Okay.
1 year ago change.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
And if you look at the map, or if you look at the chart here, if we go back to July of 2021, we see that Orange County was at 1,098,000, Irvine was at 1.3, and Turtle Rock was at 1.75.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, by the way, you can have up to 4 different slots here to compare things side by side, if you choose. We can even say, we're going to stick with urban. Actually, let's go with a different city. Let's go with
Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa. Now, here, maybe we're looking at the detached market, but now maybe I want to apply some of these extra filters, and maybe I want to compare different home property types, meaning like bedrooms. Now, instead of selecting each filter separately, what I could do instead here, simply click on this two-way arrow next to where it says number of bedrooms. And we now all of a sudden see a huge different chart here showing the different bedroom types and their median sales prices in the city of Costa Mesa. So 2 bedrooms are at 1,075,000, 3 bedrooms at 1.2, 4 bedrooms or more at 1.3. All in all, average is 1.7, or the median sales price.
Include the year, what year was it built, or the square footage?
Well, this is bedrooms in general, ma'am.
Yeah.
So regardless of what year it was built. And anonymous attendee, we will get over to how to print these out to be able to share it with your clients here in just a minute. Now you can do that. Yes.
I'm still having a problem picking up the embed link and putting it in the email. It just stays as a
The
link.
embed link is not, are you trying to copy the embed link?
Yes.
Send it over to your web designer?
No, I tried to insert it in my email. Like,
Embedded links are meant for your website because of the way the code is written. So you're doing the wrong thing.
but it used to work when
No,
I
ma'am, you're doing the
inserted.
wrong thing. Trust me.
Okay, then
I'll show you how to
how can I put the graph in my email?
I will show you that here in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, real quickly, just to look at some things here in Costa Mesa, some other stats, because again, we're just focused on the median sales price. Remember how I was saying, you know, some of you will look at positive or negative. We'll look here. We've got the ups and downs. And of course, in the past couple of months, we've got some downs here. Here you can look at active inventory. Here in the month of July, 106 properties were active for sale, up 47%. If we look at the chart here, the properties have just steadily gone up. Back in January, it was at 33. So from January to July, you went from 33 properties to 106. So an increase of 73 properties up for sale, which is probably why pricing has come down just a bit. Pending sales. We see here that 31 properties went into escrow, into pending status, down 47% from a year ago. Well, here again, it peaked back in March at 59, started off at 32. So from January to July, it almost evened out, break even. Closed sales. $34 properties closed sales here in Costa Mesa, down 41%. But again, we're seeing these different changes in the market. Days on market. This is what you guys care about too, right? Sellers care how fast they need to get into escrow. Well, look here, 13 days to get into escrow, up 62% from a year ago. But if we look on the line graph here, 13, 8. So in just a mere month, we went from 8 days to 13 days. Back in January, it took you 10 days to get into escrow. We go to July of 2021, 8 days. Back in 2019, though, 46 days to get into escrow. So people are still selling their homes faster. Now here, what we care about, month supply of inventory, what is that going to determine? What type of market? Correct? So here, month supply of inventory, we're at 2.5 months worth supply of inventory. Up 92%. Well, here back in January, it was a super seller's market, right? With less than a month worth of inventory on the market. Now, month supply of inventory, how that is figured in and what this means. Anybody here know how to explain month supply of inventory to a client?
So basically it just means if there's no new listings come on the market, that's how long the current listing inventory will last. for the-
Correct. Based on the number of properties going into escrow.
Yeah.
So it'll take 2.5 months to eat up through your, what is that, 106 properties for sale at a rate of 31 properties every month. So you divide that 106 into 31 and you should get about 2.5.
Probably a little higher because 106 divided 31, that's like 3.2, something like that.
Oh, then maybe it's the closed. What's the closed here? 34. So let's see, 106 divided into 34. So yeah, that's 12. Yeah. So then I guess they changed it to closed sale or total close or closed sales. Sorry. So active inventory divided into closed sales.
Okay.
Okay. So there we go. So yes, it's still a seller's market here in Costa Mesa, but it's on the rise. Sellers, how much are you getting of your property value? You're getting 100%. So listing agents know how to list their properties and what price to list them at here in Costa Mesa to get you into escrow within 12 days to get you 100% of what you're asking for. So price it right, or else you're missing out.
That is actually pretty impressive that they're right on target 100%.
Mm-hmm. Especially back in April, they were getting 7% more than they're asking.
Yeah, totally. Still really good at 100%.
Still really good at 100%. No complaints. So now, how do we get this information out here? Now, by the way, I know some of us looking at charts and graphs really freak out to see a month-to-month change like this, right? Ups, downs, ups, downs, ups, downs. Now we can change this a little bit. How we can change this to smooth out this line a little bit better is that over here near the right-hand side middle, we've got a monthly change. If we click on the down arrow, we can say, show me a rolling 3 months, meaning that we're going to start to smooth out this line just a bit to 6 months to 12 months. Which now, once this reconfigures, it really smooths out that line. So we don't necessarily show the sharp peaks or the deep valleys. Here we've kind of got a steady incline. Now, again, we're looking at 5 years worth of data. So today up to 5 years ago, back to 2017. Now, I personally, when it comes to sharing information here, I don't like a line graph because a line graph will only give me this line with the ending number. Instead, though, what I can do instead of a line graph is go to a bar graph. So here in Costa Mesa, what I like about the bar graph is that it gives you July's numbers for that particular stat, but compared to July of 2021 and compared to July of 2020. So even over the course of 3 years, homeowners have gained substantial equity in their home value if they bought even 3 years ago. Yes, it went from 2020 to 2021 up 26%, which now all of a sudden jumped another 8%. And if we were doing the, say, this extra filter of, say, number of bedroom comparisons, we now all of a sudden have a more detailed chart going back 3 years for all the bedroom types. Now, how do we share this information? Well, we can come over to the share button and we have several ways of sharing this information. Number one, we can choose a static report, meaning that it's a static PDF document. We can either create the PDF that we can then download, print, or put in an email, or we can create an emailable link for our email or our social media platform, which, if we look at this document, which is also a PDF, we see here that we've got the information pre-branded to us. The branded information all comes from your roster in the MLS. So you got to make sure that your roster in the MLS is up to date. Okay. Put in your cell number, your phone number, your email address, your website, upload a photo of yourself for your agent roster. That way, when you're doing FastStats like this information is pre-branded. Now, by the way, I can now download this PDF if I wanted to, and using a PDF editor, put several of these charts together on a document, which is great for door knocking, which is great for a flyer, which is great for an open house. Real quickly, is it possible to break down the time periods into months rather than years? Unfortunately, Mark, no. It only gives me years. It tells you this month of this year versus the same month of the year prior. So 2022, 2021, all based in July. So you're kind of getting that down. But if you're wanting to say, show January, February, then this is where you're going to start to need to make these charts yourself.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
My chat is disabled, my question is disabled, but my question is, can you do this for rental properties?
Unfortunately not. It's only for sales.
Okay.
CRMLS wants to see usage before they start implementing, say, the rental side or other property types. They do have the ability to do it. It's just that right now they want to see people use this tool. And I want to say in all of MLS, less than 3,000 people out of 200,000 agents are using this tool, which is why I have a class on how to use this.
Yeah, very good.
Because as more and more agents begin to use it, then CRMLS will open up the floodgates and allow for other data to be used in this manner.
Yeah, Tony, I have a question. So would you recommend, say, if we go on listing appointment, to just share it as a live so that it's updated? Or would you recommend, like, say, we just pull up the website so that we can click through different data as soon as clients have a question about a certain range or a certain bedroom count?
That would be up to you. There's nothing wrong with doing it either way.
Okay.
Usually, if you're talking about a PDF document, you kind of want it as a static report because, hey, you've got it there on your tablet device. You don't need to have internet access. Whereas if you're trying to log into the website, if you don't have internet access, you don't want to lose that part of that presentation, right? So have it in both. Yes, always go online and pull up the current data, and then have it as a PDF. That way you can give it or email it to your client if you wanted to.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Now, there's also another cool thing here. How many of you actually have your own personal websites?
I do.
Okay,
I
a
do.
couple of you. Awesome. Real quickly here, Mark asks, I guess I can break it down to months with the stats section of the MLS. You could very easily, Mark, you could do that. That's what that tool is for. It doesn't look as pretty, but you could do that. I'm an appraiser and tracking the trends as carefully as possible. That's totally fine. Yeah, there are other ways that you could use stats and the stats tool in the MLS for that purpose. Real quickly, those of you with your own personal website, I just have to ask real quickly, what's on your website besides the about section and your IDX feed?
Have on my.
So your
I-
IDX allows anybody from the world to go to your website and look up properties, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And then of course you got an about who you are page, correct?
yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Since I'm a loan officer, I have some information about loan.
You have some information about loans. Okay, great. But what else? What makes you stand out amongst any other real estate agent that has the same IDX feed, almost the verbatim, the same about section? Because I love how agents say almost the exact same things. I love working with buyers and sellers. I work in Orange County, LA County, Riverside County, San Diego County,
Yeah.
and I would love to work with you. You're a first-time home buyer. I'm your person, right? We want to
Yes.
be able to go above and beyond that. Well, this is where stats might help you. Real quickly, info for first-time buyers, sellers. There is, I think, a stat for total closed sides dealing with buyers. Now, whether they're first-time buyers or not, we wouldn't know. MLS doesn't track that type of data only because that's something that you may want for yourself. You know, because there's nothing indicated in the MLS system that somebody's a first-time homeowner. Because that could be used as discrimination, and you got to be really careful of segregating out certain groups. Does that help, Marcine or Marceline? Sorry, I was answering your question about what info I have. Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's fine too. Well, here, what we can also do, and I do believe, Sadaka, you might have said that this is what you were trying to do. We can make a live link that's embeddable for our website. All we got to do is just copy this code and embed it into our website. Now, if we're not the web designer, we're going to take this code, put it in an email, and email it off to our web designer. Now, you'll notice here, this is looking at one particular stat. Well, I'm not limited to how many of these I create. So what I could do essentially is with my website, I have a page dedicated to a city like Irvine. There on the Irvine page, in the middle of the page is the IDX properties up for sale, right? No different than what anybody else can search. But to the left or maybe to the right of all those properties are these individual charts and graphs for the city of Irvine. Then, and the reason why it's live is that I don't want to have to go in and create brand new links each and every month. Because I'm making a live embeddable link, the information that somebody goes to see today, when they go next month onto that same page, they're automatically going to see the updated data. So now my website is providing not only MLS data, but they're also now providing statistical data. So now I'm a source of information. Maybe I have several pages, one in Irvine, one in Mission Viejo, one in Lake Forest, one in Laguna Beach, one in Costa Mesa. Outlined the same way, property data of what's up for sale. And of course, to the left and the right, all the stats pertinent to that city or that MLS area.
Sorry, I have another question.
Yes.
My website, it's controlled by somebody else. Somebody, I'm paying 25 bucks a
You
month.
email that person those embeddable links.
So I have to email to him every time.
Just the
can-
one time. That's why you make it live. So they all have to do is you just make it live, embed, and then you just copy that link.
Oh, okay.
Hey, put the following links into my web page, right? Or my website. And then it's basically they've set it and forgot it. They don't have to do anything else special.
Tony, what's the difference between the image and the interactive iframe? So like when you embedded it?
Oh, do you want them to interact and change information? You probably don't want somebody to change information on your through the web.
Okay, so the interactive is when they can input their own information, like, you know, maybe choose the price range, maybe choose, you know, different bedroom count. Is that what that interactive mean?
Yes.
Okay. So you
So
would recommend do the
I'd
image?
recommend this leaving it as the image that
Okay.
gets updated automatically.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, Tony, if we select live, we cannot have it as PDF, or we cannot post it to social media then. We
That
can
is
only
correct.
get it, in the embed
That's for
version.
your website. So you're embedding a link. See how this code is written out? It's framed in what they call HTML. Okay. Which
Yeah,
is what most websites are designed around. Now, what you're trying to do for social media posting and email, instead of choosing embed, you want to choose social media or email, have a static PDF document, and then when you hit share, you can now either copy this link or copy this
Mm.
or download it and then input it as an attachment. So it's your
see,
choice.
I don't want to do an attachment. I
that's
want
fine.
to put it in the body of the email.
Then you take this link and you copy it and you paste it in the body of the email. Or you take this, save it as an image, and then you hyperlink this link into that image, which some emails are easy to do. Like Outlook, you would put the image on or the JPEG picture on, and then you would right click on it and say hyperlink, and then you'll paste this link into that image. Which at that point you don't need to do if you're doing an image. But if you're doing a video, hey, hyperlink the image with a video.
Tony, if you don't mind, do you have an open email like you're composing? And can you please demonstrate putting that URL into the body of an email? I mean,
You're just talking about just copying this into a body of an email. So I'm
yeah,
just going to copy, and
yeah.
then I'm going to open up my email. Right. So I'm just going to go to my email here in my Gmail. I'm going to say compose.
Yes.
Right. So type who I'm going to email to. Right. Put my email list together. And now, as I'm typing my email, I can now right click and paste that link.
See, it doesn't draw the graph,
It won't.
But they have
but
to
it
click.
used to. That's what I'm saying. It used to. I have proof of that. When I did that, it immediately put it in a graph. It even put an outline box to it. Is that hyperlink?
That's a hyperlink. So what you could do is insert an image and then hyperlink that image with that stat. or
Yes,
you
I-
just
something
take the
happened.
image itself. Okay. So here, let's, oh, where is it?
Copy the image into your photo.
Oh, there we go. Copy the image. And then go into my email, paste the image. And there's the image.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is a better way than just putting that link.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you copy the image from the previous menu? Is it,
So when I opened up that PDF document, I came
Yeah.
down below and there's this little green button here that says share and it says get PNG image.
oh, I see. Okay,
So when I selected it, this image came up. I then right clicked on
and
it.
it's a PNG, yeah. Okay,
And then I hit copy image. I then went into my email and then right clicked and pasted the image.
okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see here. Real quickly here, Mark asks, can you please show where the share drop down is located? Sure, Mark, I can do that. Real quickly here, and of course it's being blocked. Excellent. There we go. When I bring up my chart, whatever chart I want to choose, I come over here towards the top middle, right above the chart, where next to where it says print says share. Here, when I select share, I'm now going to pick what I want to share, how I want to share it. So PDF, social media, email, static, and then hit share to make the link or view the PDF. Or if I'm doing a live embeddable link for my website, I'm going to select live embedded. And then when I hit share, copy and paste the code into an email to my web designer. So that's several ways that you can share that data. Does that help?
Yes, and sometimes I just copy the image to my photo.
You could do that too. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Lovely thing about technology, there's a million different ways to do what you're doing. There's not one set way of doing it. All right, real quickly, just want to show you a couple other things, and then I'll get you guys out of here because I know your time is your money and your money is your time. Real quickly, FastStats. So here we're looking at InfoSparks and we're looking at one particular stat. Now here in FastStats at the top middle here, we'll start with the local market update report. Now the local market update report takes all those stats and puts them onto one page. Now, this is great for the county. Now, what's really neat about this is that I am not limited to just Orange County. I can look at Northern California data, Central California, Mid-Southern, and Southern California data. If I say select as an example, Southern California, here is an outline of all the counties. I can now select the county of, say, Orange, and now I get a nice, lovely one-page report that usually is updated around the 12th of every month with all the stats. So we see here in the month of July, Orange County for single family versus condo and their numbers. Now, using a PDF editor, I could download this and then rebrand it with my branding. So I could use an image editor. I could use Word or Excel or PowerPoint or whatever to edit this PDF file and put my branding on this PDF file. If you wanted something that was a little bit more detailed, because maybe, geez, you want to show things that are highly detailed for the county, then this is where the monthly indicator report comes in. What it does is it takes all those stats and gives you a highly detailed 15-page document. Here, if I select monthly indicator report, I'm now going to select Orange County Realtors. And here we've got this beautiful, highly detailed document starting with a quick snapshot, median sales price up 14%. For detached, attached is up 8.5%. And of course, overall, both of them combined 7.7%. Here we can look at by page 2, starting with detached, July of this year versus July of last year, and of course, a yearly change. Here we've got a 3-year chart. But by page 4, we're now breaking down the individual stats. Now, Mark, you had asked about month-to-month information. This will be great for the county for you. Unfortunately, it won't break it down by city, but at least for county, you can see all the detailed numbers for each and every month, for each and every stat. As a matter of fact, you even get a nice little chart here going back 20 years to show the ups and downs of the market. I love this. Here with new listings coming on the MLS, we see here a trend. Usually by beginning of the year, inventory is super low, but then as the year goes on, about mid-year, you hit its peak, and then by the end of the year, it goes down. So listing agents, when clients ask you, when's a good time to list my home? Well, what time of the year are you wanting to think about? Show them this. You can do that with pending sales. You can do this with closed sales. I love this one, median sales price. Whoops, did I pass it? There we go. Look at where we're at today versus back at our previous peak. We can even take a PDF editor and compare side-by-side charts. See how they work in conjunction with each other. So like as an example, right, even though we do see a drop in pricing right now, we are still well above what it was back in 2007, which was when the recession happened, the bubble pop. And some people may go, hey, we're in another recession, right? We're going to have another bubble pop. Well, let's see that. Let's look at how inventory could be affecting home prices. So here we're looking at inventory of homes, and inventory says something vastly different. Back in 2007, 2008, we had more than 12,000 detached properties on the market when we were at our previous peak at $760,000. Even during the crash, we still were well above 8,000 properties. But look at where we're at today in comparison. We're a third or a fourth of what we were back then. So one could argue that yes, inventory is slowly on the rise, and this is something to keep track of. But because of the low inventory, it could be argued that this is why prices are up the way they are. Because they work in conjunction. Yes. Will interest rates affect pricing? Yes. Will inventory affect pricing? Definitely. We show that here. Will will inflation and all that other stuff have bearing on it? Sure. Will it cause it to crash? Depends. If inventory all of a sudden starts to skyrocket, maybe that's something that we should be worried about. But until we start seeing that number go higher and higher, if it maintains, we may not see a drop in pricing. We might see a leveling off instead. Those are great talking points to have with clients, both buyers and sellers. Are there any questions on any of this? Or any further questions?
Yeah, quickly, can you go back and see where we can get that monthly, all those statistics that you just had? That's a good one to put on a website.
Are you talking about that 15-page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're going to go under where it says FastStats here.
Okay.
Under FastStats, you're going to come over here to the left and choose monthly indicator.
Okay.
And then you're going to choose Orange County Realtors.
Orange County Realtors on the same page.
And then you can download it and then use PDF editors to take out pages, change things around a little bit. You don't
Oh,
need
do
to
that.
change the charts.
Oh, okay,
But you can cut and paste things together.
thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Oh, we have a question here. Analyzing pending sales. Can you explain how declining pending sales are an indicator of demand? Sure, Mark. I would imagine that the argument could be made that with affordability for the detached market, and let's go with Irvine again. Right here, prices are up 1.7. So pending sales are down 49%. So you can make the argument that maybe affordability, interest rates, inflation could be those factors, right? But home sellers are still getting 100% of their asking price in this city. And it takes them roughly 12 days to get into escrow at 1.7 million. Now, the current active inventory, is it up or down? It's up to 260 properties. Down from 276, but up from the beginning of the year at 118. And even back in 2019, it had 617 properties on the market. So back in 2019, we're at still million. So $700,000 in 3 years. Pre-COVID. So the pending sales are down even from April. Well, increased numbers, right? So again, side by side in April, what was the median sales price here in April? 1.74, so $6,000 more than it is today. So what are the contributing factors? Well, when did interest rates start to rise? It was what, March, April? I think, Mark. So is that a contributing factor? Probably. Is that something to talk about? Most definitely. Does that help? It's been hard to explain the market over the past couple of years. This is very helpful. That's awesome. Another one that's also good for you as a listing agent is showings. I think they have a new one here. Shows per listing. And this is a new one here, shows to contract. So we see here that properties are shown at least twice. Here per listing, on average, 3.5 showings. So if you're not getting 3.5 showings, then maybe we need to think about some sort of strategy or figure out why the property is not getting very many showings, which that would be another contributing factor of why properties aren't going into escrow.
Is the showing based on an open house, or how would they know?
Somebody accessing lock boxes.
Lock
And you know those super lock boxes? Well, they track everybody that's going into those boxes, right? And
Yeah.
Supra tracks that information. So they've now given over that information that per each listing in Irvine, they're getting on average for the detached market 3.5 showings.
Hi,
Out of
Tony. I have a
30,000
question.
lockboxes. What was that?
I have a question. The Supra, a lot of listing properties don't use Supra. So for those properties don't use Supra, will they be listed here?
Well, they're not going to show you showings per. So this number could be off because you're right. Not everybody uses a lockbox, or at least a super lockbox on a listing. They should. It's the most secure lockbox.
Oh, a lot of properties don't use Supra. I I checked a lot of them. Yeah. So I have to just contact the listing agent to see it.
Yeah,
So they will not enter this data to the
correct. This is only for those lock boxes that are getting actual showing activity. So your key accesses a lockbox. That key number or your key records what lockbox it went into and who it belongs to. And that when it updates, it downloads all your showings, every property you've ever shown, every lockbox you've ever accessed. So CR or Supra takes the total number of lockboxes that are available in the association or in the MLS system, which Orange County Realtors, there are about 35,000 lockboxes by just Orange County Realtor agents alone, right? But not all of those lockboxes are being used. But the ones that are getting activity and being recorded, that gets downloaded and indicated as a showing per listing. So yes, you're right. Not every listing has a lockbox. Not every listing has a Supra. So this number could be better if everybody had a super box or if every listing had a super box on it.
So it's not the reality. It's
not over the top reality.
Yeah.
But it's a good indicator. Are we getting a lot of showings?
I see. Okay, indicator. Thank you.
It's better than nothing. Let's put it that way.
Hey, Tony, it's Mark. I have a question about on the FastStats, when we hit the CRMLS, we're getting all of the aggregated areas that CRMLS covers.
Yes, sir.
But on the monthly snapshot indicator, this is when we choose Orange County Realtors, we're getting only Orange County data.
No, you're still getting all of CRMLS data. It's just branded to the Orange County Realtors. These are other associations, right? So even though like, where is it? I think Pacific West Association of Realtors, they're in Orange County as well. Their charts are a little bit different, but not by much. It's still about all the same. It's just branded with PWR.
I see.
You guys are my agent, so I want you to use our branded stats.
In the Orange County Realtors, the first page says change in median sales price 14.3%. That's not just Orange County.
Yeah, this is just Orange County.
Oh, this is okay. So on the monthly snapshot, we're just looking at Orange County. And then on the branding, I would assume you want to leave Orange County Realtors on there.
You don't have to, but we'd like to always partner with you.
Okay.
But if you wanted to, right next to it, you could put in your branding right here.
Yes. Okay.
Or you just take ours out altogether. Down below, it is indicated where this data came from, which is in perfect compliance with DRE regulations and first point of marketing.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah. And on that lockbox thing, I know that in the past, as an appraiser, I have had a lockbox and I've accessed homes that way. So that might skew the number just a tad, but not a lot.
Not a lot.
No, not at all. Thank you. This is good.
You're welcome. Now for the ones here, like the state of California, I think this one's a general branding, not to any one association. So if you wanted to talk about state or, sections of the state statistics, you do have some information. This is a huge report, by the way, and it's very interesting to see like what's happening within the state or certain regions of the state. So, I mean, again, you've got all this data at your fingertips that most people or most real estate agents are afraid to talk about. So it's nice and encouraging to see that everybody attending today is not afraid to try out data, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent.
Right.
So try it out. Are there any other questions? By the way, these are great questions. Oh, Marceline, no, it's not pulling it from showing time. That'll be a different stat eventually. I do believe Showing Time will have some really cool things eventually when it comes to that, but usually showings are tracking your listing and your listing alone, which is great for you and your client.
Yeah, so that's like the Supra, right? Like if you have a listing, you have a Supra, then that Supra only tracks this specific listing. With
Well,
the plan.
yes, typically yes, but what Showing Time, say in those cases where you don't have a super lockbox, it's a combo box or shown by appointment only. What you can now do is with Showing Time here, under your report section, you can actually look at your listing activity for your listing. And you can show your client the amount of showings that are being requested and of course feedback given by those agents. So whether you have a lockbox on it or not, this is pertaining to this listing and this listing alone for you and your client. And there is a choice here for a homeowner version, which hides all the listing agent data, or I'm sorry, the showing agent data.
Oh, nice.
So using Showing Time not only to set up appointments as a showing agent is great, but for a listing agent, this is great as well, because now you can give feedback and again, discuss strategy over how to use, how to best market a property, which is in great conjunction with what's happening in the market using InfoSparks. So a lot of your tools you're going to be able to integrate together to be able to give a better, complete, wholesome picture of what's happening.
Yeah,
how-
that,
And how
yeah.
to take advantage of things. Ray asks, is this recorded so we can view it later? Yes, Ray, it is being recorded. And how do you grab the link for your personal website again? Sure. What you want to do, Ray, is you bring up your stat and then come over to where it says share. Maybe you change it from line graph to bar graph. From here, under the share options, select live and then choose embedded or embed and then say share and then take this link, copy it and paste it into an email. Or if you're the web designer of your own website, go in, edit your website and place it where you need it to go. Does that help, Ray? Hopefully.
I think it's very helpful. This is so helpful.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Well, if there are no other questions, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for attending today. Hopefully I'll see you for this afternoon's class when we're going to go over marketing properties using your free tool called REALTOR to make property specific websites, which is really awesome and really fun to do and super easy. And with that, I hope you all have a great time creating content, handing out information and becoming the market experts.
Well, thank you very
And
much.
having more business.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you do all have any future questions, please feel free to reach out to me, call me, email me. My phone number, if I can bring this up again. My phone number is 949-586-6800. My extension is 104, or feel free to email me at Tony, Tony at OCRealtors with ending in an s.org. With that said, I hope you all have a great and fun day and week, and hopefully I will see you all again very, very soon.